Internet filtering is a mechanical method for exerting some control over what content can be viewed while viewers online. Schools are required to filter Internet content if the school wants to receive funds for technology infrastructure expenses through the federal E-rate program. We describe the E-rate program and expectations related to filtering elsewhere. Our intent here is to provide an explanation of just how filtering works. Our demonstration is based on an online service called OpenDNS. We have selected this specific service and the method it uses because you can try the free version of this service yourself. Exploring tools yourself should help you develop an understanding of how these tools work. OpenDNS claims that the filtering service it offers are used in more than 1 in 3 U.S. K-12 institutions. What I am describing here is a version of the service designed for individual computers. This would not be the approach taken in schools because it would be tedious to set up the system on each machine. The service can also be established at the level of the router, hardware that allows multiple devices to access the Internet. This technique is more complicated to implement, but quite efficient when many computers are involved. Here's a simplified explanation of how OpenDNS allows content to be filtered. The filtering system OpenDNS uses is based on the need to convert URLs, universal resource locators, you may use the phrase web addresses, to an IP, Internet Protocol address. Each computer connected to the Internet has a unique IP number. This number is sometimes referred to as a dotted quad because there are 4 numbers separated by periods. For example, 199.239.136.200 is a designation for one of the servers providing access to the New York Times. You can enter this number in a browser as an address, and you should connect to a New York Times server. A device on the Internet called a DNS, domain name server, the OpenDNS company uses the phrase domain name system, accepts the URL or web address you enter, looks up the corresponding IP number, and then sends your request for content onto the server associated with that IP number. The need for this conversion and the fact that the conversion is accomplished by a computer provides the opportunity for that computer to do some other things. If that computer had stored information in addition to the IP number on a website, things like whether the site contains adult content, hate speech, or things of this nature, that DNS computer could refuse to translate the URL to the IP number necessary to retrieve content from that web address. This is basically how OpenDNS works. You tell your computer to use OpenDNS in place of the DNS server assigned by your service provider, and you tell OpenDNS what types of content to block. OpenDNS will then filter future requests based on your settings. If you want to try this out, OpenDNS provides what the company describes as a home solution. This solution is free. You might want to open an account and experiment with parental controls. When you establish an account, OpenDNS will provide some DNS IPs. You will need to open the settings of your computer and enter these numbers in front of the DNS numbers that already exist. I used an iPad for this demonstration and first located my DNS settings. The iPad requires that you enter DNS IPs separated by commas. Here are the 2 IP numbers beginning with 208 provided by OpenDNS. Once you have an account and have prepared the computers you want to take advantage of this account, use a web browser to log into your OpenDNS account and set the filtering guidelines you want to apply. OpenDNS offers the opportunity to be very specific about the types of content you can filter, or you can accept general levels of protection. Like most filtering systems, OpenDNS allows review of the activity that passes through the system. On an individual machine, this information might simply be a way to satisfy personal curiosity regarding browsing behavior. On a school system, these data might indicate sites that the school staff may eventually decide to block. Images used in this presentation were downloaded from openclipart.org, a site providing open source images.